We'll name him Pickle Steve.
He's like, what's his name? He's Ralph if Ralph was confident. Is Ralph his name?
What the heck is Ralph?
Raphael.
Maybe it's not Ralph. Raphael.
From the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Imagine that, except like he does love pizza, but he's also really insecure. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Pointless Discourse with myself, Hoppocalypse, Itisdpayne, and special guest, Blackjack.
It's me, a Blackjack. I'm here.
I'm like, he's a mute. we took up all his voice in our 2-hour pre-ramble.
So Blackjack, before we forget to do this, because things get chaotic once we actually start recording and things slip our mind, plug yourself.
Hi, my name is Blackjack. I am a streamer. And you can find me on twitch.tv/TheBlackjackXXI. That is for the Roman numeral 21. These days I am streaming Hades 2, which is an early release. Please play it. It's very good. 999, which I'm doing a replay through with friends who have never actually played the series. And it's fun for me because I haven't played it in 5 years, so it's fun to replay. And then I will be starting another puzzle murder game visual novel called Umineko soon, which I'm very excited about because it's got like such a big cult following. So that's me. And then I'm starting to do digital art, but that's kind of that's a work in progress. So you can see my little drawing that I made here. That I did that. So that's me.
Nice.
Yeah, I met Blackjack via Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Aha.
And we've bonded over various dating sims, I believe.
Yeah, I am
I met
lover
Blackjack
of the
through
dating
Hops.
I forget. Is it Edelgard? Is that your wife?
Edelgard was, yes.
Oh, wow.
Edelgard was who I ended up picking. But yes, I would fight someone over either Edelgard, Shamir, or... Yeah, no, that's it. It's Edelgard and Shamir. That, like, I'm definitely fighting somebody over.
Shamir is a very good pick. I forgot that on the back of my phone, I have these stickers that I should really replace. They're very, like... I need to, like, take them out of my case. But I had bought anime stickers because I wanted to get a clear case so I could change out the stickers, never replace the stickers. So I've got my Genshin boys for video viewers, Dainsleif and Dimitri. I love Walmart Batman. And then I haven't played Genshin in a very long time. And then I have these little stamps of Dimitri. It's not focusing. Dimitri and Yuri. And Dimitri and Dainsleif, if it's not obvious, are basically the same boy. Just different fonts. But I forgot that I had these on the back of my phone, and I at my book club, and someone goes, "Oh, is that Fire Emblem's 3?" Or no, someone goes, "Is that Genshin?" I was like, "Yeah, I have them, and then I have Fire Emblem's 3 Houses characters." And the one person was like, canonically, it's Edelgard, and that Byleth is a woman, and that they're lesbians, and they love each other, and you cannot convince me otherwise. And I said, good for you. I married Dimitri, and they went, oh, no. And I was like, look, I can fix him. It's okay. I need me a fictional man that doesn't talk to me for literal chapters of a game.
I
would say that
what we are talking about.
I would say that if there was a guy that I had to pick, it's Claude. I want to be Claude so bad. So that's why I would say, like, if I had to romance, it's Claude.
I like the joke that I've seen a lot of people that are like trying to figure out their sexuality. Do I want to be them or be with them? Claude, I can see that energy for a lot of people.
I just remember because there was one time when Hop was still streaming, she was doing Fire Emblem,
3 Houses.
whatever one's on the Switch.
Yeah.
I don't know them. My experience with Fire Emblem was I played the first one, I got halfway through the game, and then someone died, and I'm like, no. And then I wouldn't get past it because I'm like, no one's allowed to die. And then everyone tells me in Fire Emblem's like, well, in the new one you can make it so they don't die. They just come back. I'm like, that's cheating. If they die, it's called I reset the world. Like,
Look. You
erased.
just saved Scum, D-Payne.
That's called how I play Fallout. But this all comes up because I remember Hop had a quiz where it's like, who's your like Fire Emblem girlfriend, wife, and husband, and all that stuff. And I remember Blackjack was also in there, and she was like, Hop's like, you should take this quiz. I'm like, okay, I have no clue who this is. And I come back and I'm like, okay, I took it. I have Petra. And Blackjack in chat was like, what the heck? How come you have... And then like Hop's like, I didn't think you would have a Petra. It's like, you don't like to leave the house. And I'm like, I don't know who the heck I got. But she has cool hair.
Petra is a very popular character, yeah.
Very, yes.
It's like, makes... I still have no... She's a rock.
Yeah. All I also know is I remember back when I was streaming and I was streaming Fire Emblem Three Houses, I was like, I don't think I'm going to buy the DLC yet. I'm going to finish all 3 playthroughs and then I'll think about the DLC. And someone was like, you have to meet Yuri. You're going to love him. And then a viewer paid for me to get the DLC, and as soon as Yuri talked, I was like, shh, guys, I need alone time. Don't talk to me. Yuri has like the deepest voice, I think, in all of the characters of the game. Maybe next to
I'll agree. I don't know anything about.
I'm trying to.
I know
go
you
through the
stand there
voices.
and you shoot magic.
I think the only one deeper is the other DLC guy, Abs McGee. I forget his name.
Oh yeah,
No,
I
that's
forgot
his
what his name is.
We'll name him Pickle Steve.
He's like, what's his name? He's Ralph. If Ralph was confident, is Ralph his name?
What the heck is Ralph?
Raphael.
Maybe it's not Ralph. The Raphael.
From
There
the
we go.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Imagine that, except like he does love pizza, but he's also really insecure.
To be fair, depending on what generation of
It
Teenage
could be
Mutant
true.
Turtles, it is.
But yeah, sorry, D-Payne, to have a full conversation without you included.
Like, to be fair, the amount of nonsense that comes out of my mouth where nobody, myself included, doesn't understand, it's fitting. You know what, though? I can finally have the conversation with you guys about Mass Effect. Because I finally finished them. It only took, like, what, 15 years after they released? I don't know when they originally came out.
Blackjack, I want you to guess. Do you? I want you to guess. Who do you think D-Payne romanced in Mass Effect?
You know, this is actually funny because I think I watched some of the streams and I don't know this. Okay. You played all 3, so that means you had to make 3 selections. So I'm going to say that the first one, your romance options were so bad that you ended up with Liara. Second game, I'm gonna say you probably went with Miranda, and then third game. Ooh, third game. Okay, that does get a little trickier.
I know it's hard because Rex has a tux in that one.
Is that in the DLC? I didn't play the DLC.
Yeah,
for any
it's a
of
DLC.
them.
Yeah, okay. Well, you know, let's have Blackjack finish his
thought process.
His
Yeah.
thought process, and then I will share my thought on that DLC.
I guess that you were because you're. I'm guessing you were male Shep, correct?
No.
Oh, you were fem Shep.
Chat voted for me to be a female.
Never mind.
Yeah,
That changed.
I was.
That changes things. Then never mind. I have to throw my second guess out the window. Then
I was a lobster because I made her very red.
You did Monster Factory, essentially.
Yeah. Well, that's... Oh, my goodness. Okay. I started playing Fallout 4. I'm giving Blackjack time to think
contemplate.
about now with that whole thing. Mm-hmm. But I made Fallout 4, and, like, chat's doing the same thing, and I was like, hey, guys, I know that sometimes, like, alerts for streaming all that, like, when I go live is slow. So I have to make the character, so just choose in Discord what you want me to be. And so they chose for me to be female in Fallout 4, which I'm like, okay, whatever. I I'm so mad because I really like how I made the man, because I made two very hideous people. I feel very sorry for that child, but it's like I gave him like Johnny Bravo hair and then made him as fat as he could be, but his eyes are like huge and like as low as they can go, and he's just like has the like
Is
the
his
memes.
nose is his nose basically like above his eyes?
Yeah,
like
his
that
nose.
low?
He does have the pig nose. It doesn't go that high, but yeah, it's up. And then like I made him have the most chiseled jaw, so it looks like he's all those mewing memes or whatever it is. But he's just like his eyes are huge, and his nose is really, and his mouth is really small, but his chin is just like chiseled. But then he also has like the weight of 3 men. And
I would
then
love his screenshot next time you go.
I'll have to go through the VOD because he's already dead. So,
Oh, rest in peace.
yeah, but since they chose for me to be the woman, we named her Sharona, because I was like, okay, well, I made this, and I'm like, I'm like, oh, and so I morphed her face to look like a witch. And she's like bone thin, and it's just like the nose is like drooping. I'm like, I wish I could make her skin green, but I got close with some makeup and like gave her like dark sunken in tiny eyes, and like I completely forget how every time she looks when the camera turns around, voice does not match her character model, because it's just like this, like she almost looks like a crow. But it's just like, oh man, it is my favorite like non-modded characters that I've made in a while, except for my Dark Soul characters, because those guys were dropped off a tree and I love them.
They have a special place in your heart.
Yeah, so anytime I get my hands on a character creator, there's always monsters coming out of it. But now I hope I stalled long enough for Blackjack to reassess his answers as I take a sip.
Yeah, that gave me time to rethink. So I think first game is still correct. There's no way. As a matter of fact, no, that's a spoiler, I guess. I'm just gonna say yes. First game, it had to have been Liara. Second game, that's where I start to not really know anymore. I don't think you would go Moram Samara. I don't think you would go. I don't think you'd pick Thane. I have a feeling you probably maybe picked Garrus. Maybe. And then third game. What if as a joke you picked Javik? Just like as a joke. Like good for the funnies you did it. Yeah, I'm going to go with those three.
I forgot he's romanceable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. You're close.
Ooh.
First one, no one.
Oh.
Second one, no
Honestly,
one.
fair.
Third
Yeah.
one, no one. I didn't realize those were options until like I got to the third one. It's like, you romanced in the first game. Nobody. And I'm like, wait, you could romance people? And then everyone in chat got mad at me because they were like, I'm like, well, every time I talked with them, they didn't say anything. It's like, because you never talked with them. And I'm like, yeah, I did. How many times I got to talk with them? I talked to them like once, and they kept, a couple times they kept saying the same thing. So why would I keep talking to them? So, yeah, I didn't romance anybody.
Wow.
Now, in the DLC, you pretty much have a one-night stand against, like, you can't control it. Like, it just picks somebody. And I will say, the one-night stand that they gave me was Javik.
Oh.
So I'm like, all right. But, all right, I'm going to say right here, I'm going to give myself, like, a minute, okay? And then I'm going to just stop because, like, there are, like, spoilers for Mass Effect 3, I guess, with this DLC. But there's in the DLC, they pretty much, you get called to shore leave, and I'm just like, okay, this is weird. We get there, you kind of get attacked by, like, this terrorist group that's just like, we hate you, blah blah blah, and it's like I won't say everything because it's all this stuff that kind of makes sense, but like in it you get I forget his name now, the commander Anderson. You get his like condo on the Citadel, and I'm just like, okay, cool, whatever. And then so you finish this, and then they're like, well, we gotta like fix up the Normandy because of stuff that happened, so you're stuck here for the day. And then it's like, well, since we're stuck here, let's have a party. And I'm like, I don't want to, but I have to get off this stupid space station. And it's like, why are we having a party literally while, like, right before I accidentally stumbled into this mission? I got Anderson. It's like, the Reapers are there and they're blowing up, like, Chicago or whatever. We can't tell the difference. I don't know. But then it's like, we go over and then it's like, we got all this stuff. And as soon as the DLC is done, it's like, go talk to the people that the Reapers are afraid of. And I'm like, why are you yelling at me? I was stuck on this stupid space station because you made me. But then it's like, to end this DLC, they're like, yo, let's have a party. Invite everyone you know. And I'm like, how are they even getting here? And then I'm stuck in there for a whole hour to play out this party. And oh my goodness, my introvertness fired off the charts through the screen because everyone's in there drinking, boozing, dancing. And I'm like, I want to leave. Let me out. And yeah, so. But the best part of that was Rex was in a tux, which was nice. You also get a very overpowered pistol that can like one-shot anything. So, which, yes, I did use that to finish the game. But yeah, it was, my biggest complaint with it is like, you have like all serious talk and like Shepard's like having like night terrors of some child you have no clue blowing up all the time, and then it's like jokes, oh my goodness, pew pew jokes. I'm like, what the heck am I doing? Like, why did we get to like sitcom land? But yeah, I didn't romance anybody because I didn't realize that was an option.
That's so. Even funnier. Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting there like, how can I romance Chakwas? Like in every, I think I got the 2, and I'm like, how can I romance Chakwas? What do you mean? Okay, we're at 3. Why can't I romance this woman? She's the most chill person here, and we always have a drink together. It's awesome. This is my partner. Why can't I?
Is that the doctor lady?
Yep.
Or okay. Yeah. So. I was trying to figure out who Liara was. I'm like, who's that one? Is that the one that becomes the shadow broker?
Yep.
Yeah, blue alien lady.
Oh, yeah. You want to know what I kept saying every time I had to interact with her?
Oh, boy.
I was like, every time a conversation happened, my character, like, not my character, I was like, yo, because I did the mission where you kill her mom before I even met her. So I'm like, we go up and Tom's like, yeah, killed your mom. And then it was just like the conversation would keep going. I'm like, and everyone's like, why are you doing this to the space alien I love? And I'm like, she ain't real. So, yep. I don't know. Hey, but I got rid, and then everyone told me I got not wrong. I got rid of the wrong Earth racist. I'm like, I don't know. It's like they learned. I'm like, yeah, they learned because I blew them up with a bomb. Yep, I killed Ashley. So,
yep,
and everyone, like, I think people were like, "Why'd you kill Ashley?
Yeah,
she becomes hot in the third one." I'm like, why do I care?
It's like if you played it in real time,
and then
it's
everyone's
just
like
yeah, if you played one in real time, it's just like, yeah, you don't even know that that's an option. Like 2 games later, why would I care if it all of a sudden? Oh man, the third game, they're like, no.
Yeah, which it really confused me because everybody was like all the clips I see, like, it's her there rather than actually, no, to be fair, Kaiden wasn't on my ship either, because I was like, no, you go to Earth, buddy. And he's like, I could come. No, you're fine. You leave. You cry too much. I have a gorilla of a man on my team now, which I also forgot was on my ship and yelled at me at the end of the game because I was talking to everyone. He's like, no, you forgot I existed. And I was like, yeah, I did. But let's punch each other. So, but anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about A24. Man, that was a big... That's been the longest intro we had for a while.
Yeah, I ate some chips
I
because my
heard.
tummy
Well,
rumbled.
I didn't heard, but I saw.
Yeah, I was polite enough to mute my mic. But in any case, to kick us off, you have a fact for us, right, DK?
Yes, the final fact. And Blackjack, just for your context, we found a list of 24 A24 facts, and which was really nice. Except we also didn't look at the date, so some of these are very dated facts.
Oh boy.
I think we said like 2017 or something. So the last one is many filmmakers and high-profile actors and actresses have expressed their fondness for the feel of the smaller, feeling-focused company rather than bug company. I think that's supposed to be big, but the bug companies and stiff executives that don't exclude the same level of passion for the work they are putting out into the world. And you know what? I will say, even before we did all this list, I was like, I think I really enjoy A24 films. And I would agree with all those people that I closed the fact list now, that I like. I dig A24 and their focus on the stories that they tell. But today we are watching Swiss Army Man. As we were also joking earlier, I have not watched Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter. So when I see Daniel Radcliffe, I now think of two things. He either has guns attached to his hands or he has many functions.
A multi-toolkit of a person,
Yeah.
some may say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But
next time?
Yep, we're gonna roll some dice. We're gonna roll a d20. Okay, well let's figure this out. We have three people. We have three options. We could do the highest, the lowest, or the middlest for who's gonna give the synopsis.
Guest's honor.
Yeah, Blackjack. What result would you want to see?
You know, I was thinking that we
To
were
give
just
the
going to roll for the
synopsis.
highest, but I kind of like the idea of rolling for the middlest because then it's like, well, then nobody will know until we all say it. So that's actually kind of cool. I like that. So now it's like if you roll a 20, it's like, well,
All right.
congratulations, you lost.
All right.
So the most middle.
The most middlest of middles. All right.
Here we go.
I rolled a 17.
I rolled an 8.
I rolled a 10.
Oh. Well,
So speaking of like, it won't be obvious who rolled the most middle. I was like,
As in, you got the
never
middlest
mind.
of
I guess
middles.
you could just
Yeah.
roll the most middle, and there it is. Oops.
I rolled a 17. I'm like, there's no way I was like, wait a second. I thought that before, and Hop's like, haha, jokes. I'm like, really?
is this our first guest episode where a guest is not giving the
I
synopsis?
think there was one other one. No, because the one we just recorded, Ex Machina, I had to give the
Oh,
synopsis.
yeah, you did.
I think there was another one. Like, so Blackjack, for the whole series, every time a guest has come on, except for like I think the last 3 that we recorded, the guest had to give the synopsis, and they were like, some of them just didn't understand. 30 words or less. It was like, you told the whole plot, like in 10 minutes.
Meanwhile, I
And
was
we're just
here
like
ready. I
politely
was like,
just sitting there like, okay.
I was like 30 words. I got.
You were just
this.
gonna read the IMDb description?
No.
So did we warn listeners that after the synopsis, that's a spoiler town?
Yeah, guys, just like Hop said, I don't think I said it because I was still thinking of Mass Effect. We are going to spoil the heck out of this movie. And just like we spoiled maybe parts of Mass Effect. Probably another game that's also as old as this movie. But anyway, I don't know when anything comes out anymore. But yes, for the next 30 minutes, it's going to be super spoil town after Hop gives the synopsis. Yeah, that's all I got. Go ahead.
All right. So, the movie Swiss Army Man, we follow Paul Dano's character as he stumbles upon Daniel Radcliffe's body, and he relies on Daniel Radcliffe's dead body to get him back to civilization.
Sounds good to me. And in 3, 2, 1, I hit the timer. And also, I think more movies needs to start on a good fart.
Good fart?
This movie is built on farts.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's built on that man's body.
Oh, go ahead. I will admit, not really knowing anything about this film, that opening, I was like, oh, well, this is quite the start. Oh, it broke. And then I'm like, okay, oh, well, he's trying again. Okay. And then I was like, alrighty then. And then how do you break up a failed suicide attempt followed by a second one? With farts.
And harmonizing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I think this movie, out of all the movies we watch, I think is my favorite soundtrack. Like the way it's integrated into the films, or into every part of this, where it's just like, it reminds me a little bit of like the Flight of the Conchords TV show, where it's just like they would start just doing like either random notes or playing things, and then it's just like the dialogue just drifted right into the music.
There were times where I would like back up 15 seconds and be like, are they singing, or is this just background music really doing a good job of like fitting the situation? And both.
Yes.
Because depending on the scene, it would start out and then all of a sudden they were both singing, and I was like, were they singing 15 seconds ago? No. Okay. Go on.
This
Yeah.
it's very funny to me because it's like
Right.
you talked about that opening scene, and it's like it caught me off guard too, because I was like, oh man, wow, we're starting off with a suicide. But then like as that's happening, I also sat there and I remembered, wait a minute, isn't this the movie that has the penis compass scene? There's no way that this is there's no
I didn't know about that.
Yeah. I can't-
Going into the
Okay.
movie, all I knew about was the jet ski body, is how I'll describe it.
Yeah, I don't think I learned that from Payne. I think what happened was I was on a stream with a friend, and I don't know how the conversation came up, but out of context, somebody was just like, you know, has there ever been a scene where like, you know, somebody's, you know, like body parts like ever did anything, or like, you know, was like, you know, directing someone? Oh, I know what it was, because we were talking about like how the streamer was you know, was just like, oh, I'm gonna go wherever, you know, like the lady is going, that's where I want to go. And so the joke kind of became, it's like, oh, well, you're just thinking, you know, down there, and you're letting that guide you. And somebody made the joke about like, has there ever been like a movie or something like that where like that's happened? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I remember like a scene like that. And I went to go look it up, and I was like, oh my God, that's literally a scene in a movie. And so I didn't put two and two together. I didn't put two and two together until suddenly I was like, wait a minute, this is what Swiss Army Man is? Oh my God, there's going to be this scene, and now I'm piecing it together that it's like, this is going to be in there. I cannot wait to see it in context, but also I'm watching a suicide and know that this movie is about to be hilarious.
Yeah, I believe when we looked into it, is it true, Payne, that some of the writer-director for Everything Everywhere All at Once also worked on Swiss Army Man?
I think so. I can
Because
double
they have
check
similar
that.
energy. Like, I think the
Yes,
emotional weight is a bit different between the two movies. But this one definitely, you can tell, like, this movie walked. So Everything Everywhere All at Once could run. And I think it's very much like, if you like one, you'll like the other.
It's both. But the Daniel Kwan and Daniel Schneidert. I don't think.
Oh, both of them did both movies.
Yeah, so it looks like they work together on a lot of stuff, like where Daniel, they both, it looks like they're both directors and writers, and so
I'd watch more of their movies.
I think those are they have a couple TV shows, but it looks like they kind of switch off, like who takes the thing, and then Everything Everywhere All at Once. It looks like they both directed it. I'll double check here. Yeah, so they both wrote it and directed it. Which, yeah, you can kind of see, like, now that, like, watching both movies, I'm like, all right, like, you can see their humor and the focus on, like, life in both. Like, one literally is what is life, the other one is what are you missing from the life around you. Quick synopsis about a movie we already talked about. So, but yeah, no, I wouldn't mind seeing what else they come out with. Hopefully, they stay friends.
I see that they at least Daniel Scheinhardt.
Yeah, that one was tough.
Has 3 upcoming things, but 2 of them are TV series.
Yeah.
And then Daniel Kwan has 3 upcoming
Also
things.
3. Same thing. Yeah, they're a package deal.
Good for them.
Hey,
Probably makes it more fun to work in the industry.
Oh yeah, it's like the South Park guys.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, I would have to say, oddly enough, like, there's so much in the movie that I thought was interesting in how you have the main character. Oh, I don't remember his name because he doesn't really say his name. Hank, yeah. The way that Hank talks to Manny, as if Hank has to reteach himself how to, like, be a living person in society.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that contrast. And then I also really liked when it gets towards like the finale of the movie, where I was confused because they had this whole thing and they were like, yeah, this is the phone from the dead guy. And I was like, did he die? And I like, but some people see him, but some people don't. And then, like, he reveals himself, and then his dad's like, oh my god, why'd you do that to me? I was like, okay, I'm back.
Yeah, throughout this movie, like, I was trying to put it together because of, like, just how the opening is. I'm like, so is Hank dead? And
it feels like it.
And, yeah, like, for the and then it's, like, the end of the movie is like, no, he's not, because it felt like, because watching this, it felt like Hank and Manny were the same person. Manny was, like, the heart and emotion, while Hank was the, like, external, kind of, like, the one that experienced it all, and it was just, like, shutting it all, like, kind of just shutting it off, and became hardened to the world, while Manny was like, no, what's love? What's all this? And was just, like, just excited to see all that. I'm like, okay, are they the same person? Just both are, like, different parts of himself, and since he's dead, he's got to, like, make peace, and it's like, no, just a dead dude being used as a compass, pitchfork, an axe,
transportation,
a
flamethrower,
transportation, gun, harpoon.
Yeah. And then, like, as things went on, I'm like, okay, were they both on the bus together? And the reason they keep picturing this girl is that they all died on a bus crash, because, like, it keeps going back to the bus. Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, and it's like, no, I'm overthinking it. Because then my final thought was, like, this is Cell 3, where Manny is actually Jennifer Lopez trying to give Hank, to help Hank through therapy.
I don't know if that came through on the mic, but
what I was saying was
oh no, I was gonna say that a car honked as soon as you finished that thought. I was like, it'd be funny if I commented on it, but I wasn't sure if it actually came through in the microphone.
It might come in your audio because Zoom cancels out.
Noise.
Yeah, filters out a lot of noise. So, but yes. Uh,
All right. So for you guys, did you have a favorite contraption for Manny?
The bus scene.
I think
So
the
I would
funniest-
probably say the
Oh, go ahead.
bus. It was just the idea of like, all right, we're taking that magazine, we're ripping it up to like simulate what it's like of being on a bus and him building the whole thing, and then like explaining, you know, like where he's just like, the Sarah is like the most like this is beautiful woman, and it's on a and like like I'm on a bus and sitting there, and he's just like, I think he asked the question of like, well, why didn't you talk to her? And it's just like, oh no, like, well, did you say anything to her? And he's like, no, I sat and I went home and ate a box of pizza. And he's just like, okay, great, so nobody loves you. But the bus contraption,
Man, you can't say that.
yeah, you can't say that. But yeah, the bus contraption was I thought was like it was my favorite because of what they did with it, and the scene that they did together in it I thought was pretty great, because it's very and I think the movie altogether does a lot of this. It's like id versus super ego, where it's like, I want to do this is Hank's character, but why am I forgetting his name now?
Manny.
Manny, thank you. But Manny, even though he starts out and like he says the thing you shouldn't say, he then later is like, no wait, he becomes id for a moment and is no other way around. He becomes super ego for a moment and is like, no, you can't do that, it's not acceptable to do that, you shouldn't do that. And there's so much of that in it that I really, really enjoyed. But I would say, yeah, favorite contraption is the bus.
Especially at the end when he's like, look at my compass to the child.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He's like, no.
He's like, no.
Yeah, the bus was really cool, especially when they had the shots where he was like, okay, imagine that you're looking at the sky and you're counting down the minutes, and then you're like, and he's like, wow, I would love to do this. He's like, well, imagine doing it every single day for your entire life.
Yeah. I forgot about him taking part the magazines to like stimulate like landscape, and he's like, I can see it. This is awesome.
I do like the bit on the bus where he's like, okay, so we all like sing together on the bus. He's like, no, people would think you're weird.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, Hank has insane arts and crafts skills, but it's like insane the amount of trash he finds to make all those like things and stuff, like
Reduce, reuse, recycle for sure.
Yeah, and like it's what in the early, like when Manny first wakes up, and it's like he's he's like, what is life? And then it's just like he creates like a whole city, and it's like it first it makes it sound like it's like, okay, this is just visual like representation, so that way it's not like the audience isn't just watching two people talk and just him explaining like all this like poetic way of life and everything, and then it like the camera pans back. It's like, no, he made all of that, and the cave is just filled with all these like dolls and like cakes and just like cityscape and like airplanes, and I'm just like, that was all done in a day. So,
yeah. Did you have a favorite contraption, Dpayne?
Originally, I was thinking of what Manny could do, but then I didn't realize
it could be.
Yeah, I was like, the bus.
Manny's
I'm like,
multi-tool.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know the one that I thought was just the funniest, which I think is meant to be the funniest, is the compass. Because the whole scene of just like the context for that scene where he's just like, what do you look? And he's like, don't look at that, man. He's just like, what is it? And then you just imagine, and then it's just like the camera slowly pans down. And you're like, oh, okay. And then Hank is like, whoa, no. He's like, Hank, I feel funny down below, or whatever he says. And then it's just realizes it's a compass, which is, oh man. That's all I knew about this movie, by the way, before watching it.
Oh, that's what you... Okay.
Yeah,
I was the only one that wasn't aware.
Yeah. Well, I think someone else told me about it. And I'm like, okay. But, which is why I didn't mention it in the, hey, it might be a surprise because it's just, but anyway, there's that, but, Let me think for a sec. Do you have one, Hop?
I really liked when they would do the movie dates. I thought that was very fun, where he was forcing him popcorn and they were like pretending to like enjoy the movies together, and he needed a Heimlich even though as a dead guy Yeah, and then they have the whole montage of like their various dates, and he's hooked up to all the things so they can like dance and they do all that. Like that was very fun to me. And I think as far as like his multi-tool aspect, I found his like, I know D-Payne warned me because like animal like stuff with animals is like very like iffy for me in movies. Mostly in horror movies, because they're like, look at this dog, it's sad. I'm like, I get it off the screen. But
look at it.
But then in this one where he's the machine gun and they're dancing around the forest, and I was like, okay.
It's like, yeah, I warned Hop about this when I'm just like, I don't remember what I said. I was like,
I think you said it's so comical though that it's like
it's not like, as you said, like in horror stuff where it's just like linger and like, look at it, it's his sins, and it's like, no, it's an animal, and that's gross. And then it's like this one, it's like, what, a raccoon, because it comes back, I think, like, what, early in the movie, a raccoon like is
tries
like
to steal their stuff,
like, yeah, and he's like, come back, I want to eat
he
you.
wants to eat the raccoon because he hasn't eaten,
and then it's like the first animal just boom, headshot. The raccoon's just head is gone, and then it's like a bird's like just it reminded me of the scene when it's an Adam Sandler film when he's gonna watch that kid and he gives him the wrist rocket and he's like, what are you doing, buddy? And it's just like just took care of every like crow and pigeon in their city, and it's just like, you're not allowed to have the slingshot anymore. It's just like, okay, you just killed a whole population of animals. But yeah, I think the dance scene, like the dancing stuff was great. It reminded me a little bit of Home Alone, of like all the little like other like mannequin people dancing, and then like when that and like that all led to like Manny still treating Hank like the girl on the bus, or Sarah, because he's like in the wig, and then Hank's like, whoa, hold up, Manny, like, I'm not actually her. And he's like, put the wig back on. Okay. And no, the other, like, it also reminded me of like the bus scene when what was it, just like Hank dressed as Sarah sits by himself, and he's like, what are you doing? So we just look. And it's like, why don't you sit next to her? Well, no, we can't do that. And he does, and then it's just like, he holds his hand, and Hank's like, I don't like this. Stop it. Stop holding my hand.
And then him saying, like, make me look at you. With his little tree earbuds.
Yes. But yeah, I think I just also like a good fart, and so the flamethrower and propel anything with the fart made me laugh. So yeah, that was fun.
I do like the touch at the end where it was. So I think my favorite part of this movie is actually really like, everything was really funny, but like the last 10 minutes I really enjoyed, where like us as viewers are reacting the same way as like people in real life are, where like Sarah is standing there on the beach going, what? And then the cops being like, you need to be arrested, I think. They're just like, I think you need help. And when they stumble upon his like it's like you kind of said, like some of this feels like maybe it's imaginary, but then the cops stumble upon like his tiny village town, and they're like, he's not well, is he?
Yeah, it's. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
But no, I think the last bit that, like you said, there's a good fart and there's a lot of propelling farts. I do appreciate that the movie ended on a fart.
It started and ended on farts.
Yep.
Yeah, because like the whole time it feels like it brings in the question like, okay, is this like in his mind and everything? Because it's just like it starts off with him on an like abandoned island, and it just doesn't explain how he gets there, and then it even like there's even this just like quick throwaway line that is not even mentioned, where it's just like, is that a dead body? And it's like, where do you find it? It's like, oh, they wash up on shore like all the time, and it's like, how many dead bodies are in this?
Yeah,
this
because they
thing?
imply what he's a bridge jumper, I think is what they imply that he is. And then there's also the other thing is like I thought he like washed up on shore on like a boat and was by himself, and then he's Manny goes, is that why you ran away? Because you're ugly and dirty and people don't love you, and that's why you ran away. And then he's just like, don't say that.
It's like, yeah. But yeah, and then it's just like, I think it answers the question at the end. It's just like, well, what was real? And then it's like, as Hop was mentioning, the just the humans that are not in the Hank Manny mindscape are just like, there's like, it's still like very impressive because they see the bus, they find like all this stuff and everything, and then it like even begs the question of like, well, is Manny even, because then it's just like as they get closer to the surface, as they get closer to like humanity, like Manny's even like why do you want to keep hiding everything about me? Like, even though like at that time it's like, no, you shouldn't be showing your compass to children or really people anyway, but it's like, don't be doing all that. And it's just and then but then he's just like, why do you want to hide everything? It's like when you put the cork in my butt. It's like, you got to cork it. How can I trust somebody who doesn't fart
in front of me?
Yeah.
He's like, you have all these things. Yeah, you have all these things hidden about you. I've never seen you burp. I've never seen you fart. I've never seen you cry. Like the whole like list, and then the whole montage of like him standing several feet away to fart in private.
Yeah, just and then. Yeah, and then it's just like, how does he bring him back with a fart? And like everyone's just like around him like, what the heck is going on?
I like that his fart was so bad that on an open air beach, Sarah and her family were like, oh, it smells awful.
Yeah. That's
well, he was holding it.
That actually reminds me.
And then the cop is like, ew, did you...
Oh,
go ahead.
Sorry, yeah. That reminded me of the actually, I forgot about this, and then I was like, oh, when we were talking about like all the contraptions and stuff, the moment that Hank can start thinking, and so he starts having thoughts, and he's just like, I just had a thought of like, because I think it's right after he looks at his phone, because he's talking about how like, oh, his dad isn't on really good speaking terms with him, and so his dad just automates a birthday message to him, and so he turns on his phone for a minute and then is like looking at the phone and is seeing, oh, the dad actually did send him a birthday message, and he realized, he's like, oh, it's my phone, and then like he's looking through like Instagram and seeing the photos and stuff. And so he goes over to Sheridan News, and he's like, oh, and it's like then the bear attacks. But then, like, I think it's somewhere, like, was it after that or before that? I can't remember. Where they're then talking about, like, he's starting to have thoughts. And he, like, every thought that he's had, he's like, oh, I'm having a thought about, about, like, Sarah. And then he's like, well, now I had a thought about a thought, and now it's making me sad. But now I'm like, he starts feeling a whole bunch of, like, emotions, which I thought was, like, really funny, because he, throughout the entire movie, is pretty just, like, blunt about everything. And suddenly, just all at once, he's having like feeling, and it kind of made him human for just like a brief moment. And I thought like the thought sequence was pretty funny.
think that's...
Yeah, and I like how like Hank was like, "Please stop doing that," because like I think Itisdpayne said like in their mindscape because like for some reason they're psychologically connected, which makes it feel like they're the same person, just dealing through like emotional baggage that they didn't deal with until they left themselves starving in the woods for some reason or another. But I do like the part where, in that scene, where Manny starts crying. And he's like, I don't like this. It's wet and it's uncomfortable and it won't stop. And Hank's solution was like, just think about happy things. And I was like, oh, you need therapy.
Yeah. I think Blackjack, the scene you're talking about is right before the bear attacks because it's they're talking and like the bear is attacking Hank and Manny like he's like, I want to see Sarah, and then it's just like he's like, who's that man with Sarah? And that's when he's like, I have thoughts about other thoughts, and that's when the bear is dragging Hank away, and he's just like, I need your help. I'm gonna die.
Right. Yeah. You know.
And
You're
Manny's
right.
just like have an emotional breakdown, and that's when it's like he works through it, and then it's to do all that, and then he gets, because what is it? Yeah, no, it's like, yeah, he sees that, and then they try to shoot the rocks at the bear, and it's just like bleh, just like all like falls out of his mouth. He's like, what's wrong? Flamethrower? No, nothing's working. What's happening? And that's when I think like after their conversation, which I'm forgetting, is all that, and then awakens. I also timed out in the movie because I was like, I'm pretty sure Manny or Daniel Radcliffe's character talks in this film, but it's like a good, like it's a third of the film before I looked at it. It's 21 minutes into the film before he even says anything. I will say, I think one of my, like, just the humor of it, one of my favorite like gadgets that Manny has is the canteen. Because it just fills up, and it's just like all the water, and it's just like Hank pushes on his stomach and just like vomits water out on him, and then he's just like fills up a cup, and he just has a thought. He's like, am I really going to drink vomit water? Okay. And drinks it, and he's like, okay, just give me more. And just,
I know. I think it's very entertaining how it's like anytime that Hank was like, I have a physical need, then like Manny was like, oh, I have a gadget for that. And it did feel like very much like codependent.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
I did appreciate that Sarah had a whole entire life of her own. And he shows up in her backyard because they're in their backyard fighting, and I was like, she has like a swing set. Is she married? Like, I assume she had a significant other, but like, does she have a kid too? And the kid comes out, is this Halloween?
Yeah. And then what does Manny think? Compass. Look what I could know.
No.
Oh man. I would also.
Did our timer go off?
No, we have 2 minutes. I will say.
Okay.
Because it doesn't really say how long they're, like, the parts that we see of them in the woods is. But, like, when he's on a deserted island before we get to where the main movie takes place, he's on 10% battery. That battery, 10% of battery, is the longest lasting battery. Like, I know it's an older phone and, like, I don't know.
Signal.
He was no signal. Well, if there was no signal, he probably was still constantly searching for a signal.
Oh, that's true. Unless he turned that off.
Yeah,
but...
unless because it wasn't very clear if he turned it on and off and all that stuff. But it's just like, but then like throughout the movie, it's like is using it for Manny to like look at Sarah and all that stuff, and it's just like that is the longest lasting phone battery.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I don't know. It was also fun to see the old Instagram logo.
Yeah.
It's weird seeing technology that's like, yeah, like it's not so old, but like it feels ancient.
Yeah. Pre-meta Instagram. Back when things actually worked. Who said that? We have
Wild to think, 'cause that
30
movie
seconds
came out
left
in
of it.
2016, and that's apparently 8 years ago.
Where were you? Oh, yeah, where were you in 2016?
Let go from my job and started bartending again.
Wow, I was like up from my job and had to go back. I had to move back to Pennsylvania. Hop, were you let go from a job?
I think I graduated college. No, I was. It was my first year into my first job.
And you were let go.
No, it was not. I stayed too long. I overstayed my welcome.
Oh, yeah, I remember you let yourself.
I let myself go.
I was like, as those words, I'm like, that doesn't mean what it. What I mean it to
It's not
mean.
the same. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the same.
There's some implications.
Yes. Okay, now the timer finished. So, but yeah, I don't know. What would you guys? I know, like I feel like we all kind of gave scores, but I don't know. What do you guys think of this film? Like, I don't know if you would rank it with something. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what my brain isn't like fully comprehending the thoughts I want to come out of my mouth at the moment.
I would recommend this movie, especially to people who are new to kind of like surrealism or like magical realism, because I think it's a nice gateway into like, wow, there's a bunch of weird stuff happening, but it's happening in the real world. It's like, that's a whole genre, buddy. Let's get you started.
Let's talk about isekais.
No.
I know it's not the same thing.
No. Because like I think like I really liked Everything Everywhere All at Once, but I do think it's kind of a lot to track. I think this is kind of like a nice one to watch for you to kind of prepare mentally the gymnastics you'll have to do for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
We watched it in reverse.
Yeah.
I would say this
Blackjack,
is I would say this is I feel like this is going to sound weird to say, but like this is like a second date movie. You know what I mean? Like it's a movie where like I really enjoyed it. Like I would give it like an 8.5 out of 10. It's like really funny, comical, well thought out. The way that they incorporate the soundtrack with everything that like goes on within the movie. Daniel Radcliffe somehow acting as a corpse is magnificent, even to like facial expressions, the way that he looked, like everything about it was like
his eye twitch.
Yeah, exactly. His eye twitch. And then just like everything about it was just so magical. And like from start to finish, like I couldn't like put it down. Like there wasn't a moment where I was like, oh man, I just want to take a break from this and like, yeah, I'm ready to critique something. It was very, very enjoyable from start to finish. And when I say like it feels like a second date movie, it kind of feels like the movie where it's like, all right, I kind of want to feel out the person that I'm seeing, and I want to see like would they find this funny, or like would they enjoy this, like, and I feel like it'd be like a good gauge of like, all right, depending on like what they see of this, I probably see if like we're kind of like compatible or something. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like, it's not necessarily like a test movie, but it's kind of like a, let's see like what our tastes are like, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's a good way to get like sense of humor, and like if they're able to see past like, you know, that top layer, because this movie is like pretty complicated if you let yourself think about it.
Yep.
But if you're not the, you know, if you're not the type of person that thinks twice about something, you're just like, all I did was fart for like 2 hours. It's like,
It was one never-ending stream of gas.
You told me this movie was going to be good. All they did was fart. I'm confused.
They farted and men held hands. Not for me. Thank you very much.
and they almost kiss. Oh my god.
Never mind. I'm gonna keep that joke to myself.
Go ahead, T-Pain. Where do you land with the movie?
Oh, I thought you were saying go ahead, tell the joke. I'm like,
Oh.
I know. I'm gonna keep that one. It's really, yeah. I think this would be a fun movie. Like, I enjoyed watching it by myself, and I think it'd be like a fun movie to like also just put on. Like, I think I would definitely watch this movie again. And like, I enjoyed my time with it, but I think it'd also be, I think it'd be a fun like movie to watch with like a group of friends as well. It's just
Parts.
yeah, like there's enough humor to like for the people that are like, feelings. I don't want feelings. But then it's like every time they talk about like how do you perceive life, that scene is always like cliff noted by farts or a boner compass. Words I thought I'd never say in my life. Or
I hope your neighbors heard that one.
yeah, they probably did. It's, to be fair, it's I run Call of Cthulhu games. That's not the worst thing they heard. So, or just some weird like montage of sniper like hunting, and it's just like everything is like doused in comedy with it, and so it's like it has the chance, like, I think could open up like some interesting conversations, especially like the not I don't want to use not critical thinking, but
Vulnerable.
I'm trying to, I think is
Emotionally intelligent.
I think
that is a phrase, like,
yeah.
having emotional intelligence.
Yes, I ignore them. No. I know what they are. Intelligent. No. But I think what you're saying is just like the people who like just take it for face value, and it's for what's there, and not like looking for, because like every movie has a message. It may not be a good or well communicated message, but like there's a reason why they're making the film. And so
sometimes for money.
Yes, and that could be the message, and rarely am I interested in those movies. But I think there would be some fun conversations to have with like from those films, and then at the same time, it's like I'm literally picturing like a handful of people I know, like in the flesh world, not that I don't know through streaming or online. The old fleshies. But they're not dumb, but they're like watching movie like, haha. Like they will watch Hereditary and be like, dude, you see the naked people? And it's like, yeah, but did you see everything else? Dude, naked old people, am I right? Okay, buddy.
There's a whole thing online that I saw people were talking about Hereditary specifically, where
I like
Hereditary.
Hereditary.
Where they were like, wow, the Toni Collette's character is such a bad guy. And it's like, oh, if a guy told me that, I'd be like, red flag, don't talk to me anymore.
Yeah, I was recently talking with somebody, and they're like, well, what's a good horror movie? And I'm like, there are good ones, but there's ones I enjoy to watch. But if you are not a fan of horror movies, and I don't know where you draw the line, I can't recommend Hereditary, because it's like of just the nature and like how like bad it feels at the end. And it's just like I have a hard time. I'm just like, I don't know, let's watch The Thing. Like, that's good. And it's like, I tell people, and not everyone, I don't think everyone looks at horror movies the same way as I do, because I'm like, a good horror movie is a mediocre mystery film. And
yeah, it depends what you want out of it.
Yes.
Some people say they want a horror movie, but they want jump scares, which is still technically a horror movie.
Yes.
Other people say they want horror movies, and they just want to watch gore, which, again, that is a horror movie.
Yep.
But, yeah, there's all these different subgenres.
Yeah, I know there's subgenres, but I think the ones that are good, that, like, aren't from people who were watching films in the 80s with the slasher films that were coming out. For me personally, like, as I've seen so many horror films, but I'm like, the ones I think I remember, no, I shouldn't say, but like, they're a mystery story that also, like, you're trying
has
to
horror elements.
Yeah, that has horror elements. So I don't know.
Lots of A24s are those.
Yes.
Some are stronger than others.
Mm-hmm. Like, what hair did they put in the meat pie?
Not much of a question in that movie.
Yeah. It shows you everything. But anyway, for people who didn't know, Midsummer. I don't get high, but the amount of times they get high in that movie, I'm like, would I have a different experience watching this movie?
If you were also high with them.
I never done it, and I don't plan on it, but I'm just like, I wonder. But anyway, back to this movie.
Thumbs up from all of us.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely good alone and with people. I don't know. Wait. There's got to be some Buck Wild quotes.
Oh, or trivia?
Yeah. What's going on here?
I'm not gonna lie, we were talking about like the kiss, and I was kind of like, I definitely thought at some point, like I was like, especially once they did the scene on the bus with as Sarah, I was like, they're gonna do it, right? Like they have to, right? And then it didn't happen. I was like, oh, that was actually a surprise.
Maybe if they had like one more day stuck in the woods.
Oh, okay. So this is an interesting trivia thing, which also correlates with one of my notes that I wrote here. Is Paul Dano's character is named Hank Thompson, which is a reference to Tom Hanks, who starred in Castaway, that had the same deserted island theme. And I wrote my third note was, I'm going to tell my children that this is Castaway. Because like in the beginning of the film, it's like him showing him trying to escape. So, also apparently Daniel Radcliffe has stated that this is his favorite film of his.
What year was that?
It doesn't tell me.
Darn.
So I don't know if that changed.
He certainly looked like he had fun in it.
Oh yeah. Like probably getting out of the Harry Potter bubble helped a lot.
Did she? So on the IMDb trivia, Paul Dano revealed in an interview that he wanted to be in the movie after hearing a one-sentence synopsis from directors, the two Daniels.
Yeah, Daniel squared.
Specifically, the directors told Dano they wanted to make a movie where, quote, the first part makes you laugh and the last part makes you cry, end quote. Honestly?
Yeah.
Kinda, yeah.
Hey, Manny looked very happy as he just smiled on his way out. Oh, here you go. The songs are all a cappella and are written and recorded by Andy Hall and Robert McDowell of the Manchester Orchestra.
Oh, that explains why they also do I think the directors are also credited with a music video for Manchester Orchestra. Mm-hmm. I have a Christmas album that they did as a vinyl, and I put it on during Christmas, and I was told it's too sad. Because they did all the Christmas music in a minor key, essentially.
Well, I know what I want to listen to.
Daniel Radcliffe claims to have not contributed a fart to the fart soundtrack.
Liar.
Says he. Let's see. Oh, they apologize for the news report being the wrong aspect ratio. There's never been an anamorphic news report, but it's too distracting to go 16. The 16. 9, yeah. What was the line? There was a line in there that because I just saw like the movies that he shows as shadow puppets, that was hilarious. It shows Jurassic Park, Titanic, Superman, Say Anything and E.T., where is Ernie's line like, so have you ever seen Jurassic Park? Or it's like they start singing the Jurassic Park theme song. It's like, there, you know it. Know what? And it's like I have no clue what you're talking about. Oh man. Okay, well, since we talked about it so much, the I can't read words. The animatronic. There we go. It's one of those words I've always heard said but never read, and I'm like, how do I say this? The animatronic wiener is controlled via a joystick and wires.
Oh.
Also, neither. Oh man, this. You know, here's a good way to end this. Neither director has seen Weekend at Bernie's.
That is funny.
Wow. I thought for sure that they were... Okay, that's interesting that they've never seen it.
Yeah.
Maybe since this has come out, but...
Yeah. Also, I'm just going to send this to Hop because this was something I mentioned earlier, and it looks like, hey, we might have something already set up.
Beautiful. All right. I guess the only other thing I'll add in real quick before we end this podcast is that now that we've watched 24 A24 films for 2024, we've had plenty of great guests along the way, and we appreciate all of them. We're going to move into something different and talk about books with oddly specific requests. So you can find out what those are when we get them more detailed.
Oh, we're not
next episode. Oh, do you want to announce the first one?
Do we want to? Like, I'm not planning on changing mine because you said it was good, and I'm like, that's good enough for me.
All right. So then for next week's episode, I'll be asking Payne for a book that reminds you of the enthralling feeling of trying a good food for the first time.
And I will be asking Hop a book that makes you yearn for public transportation. And in short, we will be finding books to those prompts, and we have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. It's going to be a little mini series. Who knows? If we like this, we might bring it. I don't know. We say that all the time. We'll probably bring it back if we really like doing it. Mm-hmm. That's the nice thing about Pointless Discourse. We're never consistent. We're consistently inconsistent.
There's no point. There is just
yes.
discourse.
Leave your brain at the door and listen to us yap about something. I still need to come up with 2 more book requests. But anyway, there's that. Blackjack, thank you so much for joining again, even though, guys, if you don't follow Blackjack or check him out, I'm going to find your house and say, yo, what's wrong with you? Because he came while he was under the weather and said, I want to talk with my good friends. Also, I committed. I don't know. One probably outweighed the other.
But we're going to... No, what you should do, Payne, is stand outside the house, and every time they leave, while they're on their phone, just say Blackjack's full username. So then they go, I'm getting, recommended to watch this guy on Twitch. This is weird.
Yeah. And it's like, yo, go check out his, the Blackjack21 Sports, where I don't think he uploads on that one anymore. Whenever I try to tag him in YouTube, that's, the first one that comes up. And I'm like, I don't think this is what it was. That's the other thing. He likes sports. I don't know I know a sport.
Do you want us to guess which sport you know?
No.
Can we anyway?
Wait. Okay.
Oh, no. Oh, sure, go ahead.
Are you saying you've played this sport, or you just have knowledge of the rules of the sport?
That was more thinking. I was just trying to say funny words. I do know multiple sports, but if we want to talk about a sport I actually played... Yeah, okay. I will say, in middle school, I did play basketball. And I think it was the healthiest I ever was, because they made me run a lot. I hated life, but then it was also the time of my life that I got the most sick. I got sick for every game. So all I did was join the basketball team to run around and sweat and not actually play games except for one.
Wow.
But anyway,
wait, is that the final answer? Is that the sport you know?
But no, I will say... there is a sport that I enjoy playing, okay? So I'll go with that. I do know that sport. It is a sport.
Oh, he's specifying it is a sport. So is it something not... is it Excel spreadsheets on ESPN?
No, look, I am a nerd, but everybody knows I don't know how to Excel in life or on digital. Yes, but no. I got yelled at on my stream because they're like, you didn't set up the formulas. I'm like, be lucky I know how to even set this thing up to say the words. Hop is the one that makes sure all the like formulas and Excel things work and that we can actually read our Google Sheet things. Because if you scroll back to our earlier ones, it's the ones that like I touched. And there's pockets and groupings of word. It looks like an insane person. But no, it is not Microsoft Excel World Championship. When's the EA Sports game of that coming out? But anyway.
We've been waiting for years.
Finally, something to really break into the market. But no, it's but yes, it is a sport.
I'm gonna guess cycling.
I was gonna guess. I wanted to say hockey, but now I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense.
I played a lot of street hockey, but that's not what I was thinking of.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with soccer.
Oh, my brother likes soccer. No to both. Those weren't the ones that came to my head. It's actually Ultimate Frisbee. So.
Oh, I was trying to go for one that's not a lot of running.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't like running, but if you put a frisbee in front of me, I for some reason I'm okay with it. But it's also like
you are a dog. Got it.
Yeah. So
fetch.
Squirrel. To be fair, like the way I do have like the short attention span of a golden retriever sometimes. But anyway, don't worry everyone. I'm already sweating just by sitting here because it's hot. But we're gonna end here. Blackjack, thank you once again for joining. Everyone, prepare for we don't have a name. Yeah. It's always an honor to have any of the guests that come on. We also said this was like our apology tour for most of the people that joined for the Christmas episodes. What was your Bloodsport was J2. No, that's not even the name of it.
We did. What
did you watch?
The Scandinavian Christmas film. Was it just called?
Oh, Rare Exports.
Rare Exports.
Rare Exports. Yeah, that was not the worst movie.
That wasn't the worst one.
Most questionable ending, though.
Yes.
A lot of morality issues.
It was just the most.
I've never seen a child.
It was the most like just there movie, but cinematically very beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get the thing and I was going to be happily surprised. And then the more reveals we got, I went, oh, this is weird.
Yeah, to be fair, out of most of those movies, I think I would be okay if I had to watch that one a second time. But, yeah, anything but The Elf. Or there's other ones. Actually, what was it, Black Christmas? I would watch that one again.
I'd watch that one. And on the Apocalypse, I might watch again if I was around theater kids.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe not around theater kids.
Yeah, they all join in.
Sing along. Yeah.
So. Yeah. So that is it. We don't actually have a name for whatever the book series is going to be called.
We'll figure it out.
Maybe it'll just be called A Book That. Because that's. ... Yes. But anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you, everyone, for talking. And I don't know. I got to use the bathroom again. So until next time, bye.
Bye-bye.